Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Monday, September 8th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you are someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a couple of clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right there will be moving around and changing. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. Second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So ticker symbol number one, we are looking at OPEN. Been tracking this one on a daily basis, and this thing keeps on putting in those higher highs and higher lows. So the uptrend continues, and just updates here need to be made. First thing I'm going to do is a little house cleaning. We'll just get rid of that level. Sure, that level still pertains to the chart. It's just not relevant anymore. And from a presentation standpoint, I don't want to risk causing clutter and confusion because there's lines everywhere you look. So let's try to keep this as clean as possible. First update, though, comes about based on a foundational rule in charting, which states when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. So now moving forward right there at 608, that'll be the initial area and ideal level of support. Ideal meaning if you were to ask Clay, what would make this chart look the absolute best moving forward? Definitely if the price can stay above there. But from the overarching standpoint, as long as the price stays above that purple line there, purple line being the 50-period simple moving average, keyword being moving. So as that line moves higher and higher, as long as the price stays above there, then overall the uptrend is fully in the bull's favor. In terms of areas of resistance, main battleground to watch here. There we go. We'll be right up here, and nothing fancy here other than the fact of the price finally started to struggle right up here around 685. So 685, like I said, no fancy logic other than that's just simply where the party finally stopped today. But all in all, anyway, look at it. Higher highs and higher lows has been the name of the game. As long as that remains the case, the bulls are in full control. Next one here, HOUR, and have ourselves a good quality pattern here. So let's get this pattern mapped out. So first part of the pattern is this area of resistance right here. You can see it just helps us kind of see the pullback that's been underway. And then to help kind of also point out where the bottom part of this pullback has been right here. Let's change that to green to represent support. And then just to make the pattern easier to see, let's keep it all the same color. So we have our area of resistance. We have an area of support. Have the big move up right here. And then for you golfers out there, try to make it a little bit more visual for you. Put the golf hole down here. And this would be a bull pennant pattern. Now, just because something's in a bullish pattern does not mean for sure guaranteed if it chops around and then gets up here that that'll create a bigger breakout. But is it valid? Is it a plausible question to throw out there as a possibility? Absolutely. So if you like bull pennant patterns, you like stocks down in this price range, certainly keep an eye on it. Next one here, NXTT. And a pretty wild ride when you stop and think about how it started off with a gap up, came all the way up here, dropped all the way down here, got the hammer candle right there, and then since has been grinding up. So now moving forward, it's really just a question of, is this move healthy? Is it falling apart? And those are just, just slogans. Remaining healthy, falling apart. But that's why I love charts, because they allow you to take kind of verbal slogans and make them very visual. And that's where, in my mind, this trend line comes into play. So moving forward into next week, just watch that trend line. As long as the price remains above that trend line, that doesn't mean that the price is always going straight up. There can be pullbacks along the way. But the point is, if each pullback is put in higher bases, which is what it's going to be required to stay above that green line, then overall the price is still healthy. The bulls are still in full control. They have not officially lost control. So just again, during this phase here when it's pulling back, I would not say they've lost control. I would just say they officially lost control if the price starts to break below that line right there, because again, nothing can go straight up. So I think that's really the most straightforward way to gauge the health of the current bounce that's happened essentially all afternoon long. And then in terms of next battlegrounds headed into next week, key battleground seems to be right up here at 0.167. You can see right here acted as resistance, and then also right there acted as resistance. But no doubt about it, nice grind today. Let's see if it continues into next week. Next one here, PRSO, and pretty eventful day. Got the big move up. Then you had this pretty nasty pullback here, but to be fair, the price has now worked its way back upwards and has now started to go sideways. So it becomes a valid question to just throw out there, hey, maybe this pullback is over, maybe it is leveled out and is getting ready to curl back upwards. So on that note, the initial key area of support, nothing fancy here. It's just, well, the price seems to have been, trying to establish itself right here at $1.23. So keep an eye on that, because as long as the price stays above $1.23, then you can make the argument that the price is working on consolidating at a higher base, and that's what it's all about. You want consolidations at higher bases, and that is what 123 is representing. And then in terms of areas of resistance, main battleground seems to be right here at the $1.38 mark. Going back here, you can see a couple rejections right there. And then also during the last 30 minutes, that is where that rejection happened. So right there, $1.38 will be the key breakout point if there is going to be any sort of curl back upwards. But all in all, it's consolidated out. So let's see if next week the price can indeed curl back upwards. Next one here, NVDA. Talked about this in yesterday's video and how this was a key area of support. And with the price coming down there, breaking through it right there, that is where at that point the rule states levels of support. When they're broken, they tend to act as resistance. And you can see this went right into action here as that bounced right there. Now all of a sudden acting as resistance, and even late day today acted as resistance, and then even final 30 minutes acted as resistance. So am I saying that 167, we'll call it 25-ish, can never be broken? I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying is it makes sense why the price is all of a sudden starting to struggle at that area, because it was a former area of support. So that'll definitely be the near-term area of resistance if the price can push up through there. Next key area of resistance will be that 50-period moving average, which right now is valued at 169.25. In terms of levels of support, in fact, let's just get rid of that line as it served its purpose. Key area to watch now moving forward. No fancy logic other than asking the question, where did the bleeding finally stop today? That was basically down there at 164.25. You can see on a couple of instances both there and there the bears try to press down, but in both instances the bulls were like, nope, we're done letting the price push us down, and they did recover back upward. So if there is any sort of roll back over, then yeah, 164.25 going to be that key area of support. Real quick, want to take a break and help you solve a potential very annoying, a very common problem, and that is people enter into the markets. They want to be day traders. Day trader being defined as having unlimited day trades every day, but they can't because of that pattern day trading rule. Well, I just want to make you aware there is a market out there and there is a way to go about it in a very low capital required way that gives you access to a market that quite frankly trades even better than penny stocks and small caps. There's bigger gains. But the most important part is there's no pattern day trading rule. So you can quite literally day trade as often as you want every single day for, again, very low amounts of capital. Now, I do also understand if this all sounds a little sketchy, a little too good to be true, which is why I'm inviting and making you aware that I am live streaming, because this is what I've been doing. So if you want to see what I'm talking about here play out right before your very eyes, then definitely swing by the live stream. I start every day at 11 a.m. Eastern. So subscribe and then turn on notifications so that you're reminded of when I do go live. And like I said, come see it with your very own eyes. Come ask me questions, and I'd be happy to provide any sort of clarity. Next one here, PAPL. And another one of these were started off very strong on the day, then started to pull back, look a little bit rough, and is now consolidated out. And in consolidating, has formed a nice little pattern here. One of my favorites. So let's get this drawn into play. There's the bottom part of the pattern. And then there is the top part of it. And this is what we have here, a nice little falling wedge pattern. Now, you would think a falling wedge is maybe a bearish pattern, but actually the rising wedge is the bearish pattern. Right here, we have a falling wedge. This is all still occurring in an overall bullish context because, yes, I realize it sounds crazy to call it bullish if maybe you bought right there. But big picture-wise, the price is still much higher than where it was from down here. So, yeah, you would still consider this a bullish context. So you have a nice falling wedge in a bullish context. Can it get some sort of breakout to the upside next week? Grab your popcorn and we'll see what happens. Next one here, GELS. And once again, same general idea. Not as much as there wasn't a massive pullback, but still from the big move up here to as high as it got right there. Yeah, there was somewhat of a pullback here. So now it just becomes a matter of, okay, it has started to go sideways. So does that guarantee the pullback is over? Of course not, no guarantees, but it makes it valid to throw out that as a suggestion. So the key area of resistance to watch moving forward if there is going to be any sort of attempted, curl back upwards, right here around $1.63. And then as far as supports are concerned, I'd say the main key level is right there, that pink line, which on my chart denotes a very well-known, the very famous 200-period moving average, right now valued at $1.32. So yes, you have quite a variety to choose from here heading into Monday, where you get those surges, you get the pullbacks, and now it's just a question of, okay, is the pullback over? Is this getting ready to curl back up? Next one here, VEEE, and yeah, you guessed it once again. Just one of those days. Some days you have a bunch of the same types of pattern. But big move up, nasty pullback, but after that, we now have the sideways action. So I'm going to go through this a little quicker. You get the idea. So the level here that stands out is there is a nice little upwards trend line here. So as long as the price stays above that trend line, that does imply that the price is slowly making its way back upwards. And then in terms of the key battleground and breakout point, that seems to be right there at $2.94, where you can see rejected the price, rejected it, and even last 30 minutes here rejected it. But the good news is the price is closing very, very close to that area. So who knows, maybe a breakout can still occur, but it's still well within the reason, given that it's close to potentially already breaking out. But anyway, look at it. Big movement. It's consolidated out. Is this pullback over? Is this getting ready to curl back upwards? We'll see what happens. Next one here, SOUN. This will mean a little bit more to those of you that watched the previous videos, but if you did, talked about this wedge formation, and you can see fake breakout here, came back down, got flat out rejected by it again right there. But right there, when that finally broke, that unleashed the momentum, and it's had a fantastic rest of the day. So congratulations to anybody that played the wedge. We'll get rid of those lines for now, and we'll map out some newer levels. So as far as ideal levels of support going forward, again, that being the area where to say, Clay, what would make this chart look the best? That would be if the price can stay up here above $13.70. But as I talked about in the previous ones, from an overarching standpoint, as long as the price stays above that purple line, that 50-period moving average, so as that line moves higher and higher, as long as the price stays above there, then overall that does imply that the trend is still building higher bases, and assuming you care about the grand scheme of it all, that's what you want to see. You want to see those higher bases being built, and that purple line is just a very straightforward way to gauge whether or not that is happening. And then in terms of areas of resistance, got to squeeze things down with the next key overarching area. So I know this is kind of harder to see, but that's a good problem to have when you have to go back this far into the chart's history. But next key area of potential selling right up there around $14.67. But anyway, look at it. Fantastic wedge breakout today. Will the momentum carry into next week? We'll see what happens. Next one here, TSLA Tesla. Beautiful, beautiful way to close out the week. And now we have ourselves a very nice pattern. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these levels here so we can just focus on the pattern. And that pattern you've already heard me talk about once, but we'll map it out here one more time. So we have this pullback here. And then bottom part of the pattern, we have some upwards movement right there. Change that to green. And then just to make sure everybody can see the pattern, let's keep it the same color. So we have our resistance. We have our support. We have the big upwards move right here. We have the golf hole down here. So we're looking at another bull pennant pattern. Again, as I said earlier, just because it's a bullish pattern doesn't mean it's going to go back upwards. But a break right there, is that a valid question? Is that a valid scenario that could potentially play out? Absolutely, especially on a very popular, a very well-known and a highly watched stock such as Tesla. So whether you trade options or stocks, if you do like Tesla and you like bull pennants, here you go. So that wraps up the top 10 stocks. And again, if you are sick and tired of that pattern day trading rule, you want to become a day trader and put yourself into a market that, like I said earlier, trades even better than small caps and penny stocks, then definitely check out the link that you've seen on the screen. But if you do have any questions or anything, let me know down in the description, or excuse me, in the comment area below the video, or just like I said, swing by the live stream. I would be happy to clarify anything and just show you what it's all about, because it is what I have been doing. And yeah, it is, it feels like a scam, but it's not. Because it really is a very, very cool thing that is now available that is really still relatively new over the past few years. So like I said, check that link out, or like I said, swing by the live stream, see it for yourself, ask me any questions that you may have. So thanks for watching. Have a great weekend, and hopefully I'll see you on the live stream.